Hi, welcome to Google Keep, the secret for making executive function easy at any age. Thanks so much for taking the time out of your day to come join us and learn about Google Keep. It is a program that is available for all staff and students in Fairfax County Public Schools that can really be helpful in managing the executive function load. Let's get started.
Hello, my name is Sarah Hussein Bazar. I'm an assistive technology resource teacher at Fairfax County Public School. I'm excited to be presenting virtually at your 16th annual Special Education Conference.
Hello, I'm Kim Malinowski, assistive technology resource teacher for Fairfax County Public Schools. Welcome.
Before we get started with how to use Google Keep, let's watch a quick little video explainer about what Google Keep is.
Life gets busy. Wouldn't it be nice to have a central place where you could save what's on your mind? With Google Keep, you can stay on top of your world by quickly and easily organizing everything you want to remember. No matter where you are, finalize your list for Thursday's gig. So when you find inspiration, you can file away your ideas. And Google Keep stores them safely across all your devices. And when the time comes, you'll have everything covered. Save what's on your mind. Google Keep.
So really, at the heart of it, Google Keep are some interactive digital post-it notes that we can add reminders, checklists, pictures, and even other things to it that can be really effective for helping our students and even ourselves as adults with our executive function. Another great aspect of Google Keep is that it works on computers, it works on iOS devices, it works on Android devices. So it's really versatile and you can go from one device to another fairly seamlessly.
Although Google Keep has many features and functions, there are 4 basic features. The first of those is simply adding text to a note. Another is the ability to change colors for each note. A third is adding a picture, whether it be from your own photos or something off of the web. And lastly is to add checkboxes for those of you that like to check something off. Let me take a moment and show you how this will look within Google. In starting, it's important to mention that you can enter Google Keep many ways. The simplest is that when you are in the Google toolbar to go to your waffle, and Google Keep may be here, it may be further down for you. I have moved mine up near the top. So you just click on it and then your screen will appear looking something like this. It's also important to note that I have my screen in what is considered dark theme. It's easier on the eyes and it makes reading the white text much easier. If you disable dark theme, this is what most of you will see. I'm going to enable mine again. So the first thing you want to do is you can see up here, you can take a note. All you need to do is click in the note and start typing. Ideas for this week. Okay, it's as simple as that when it comes to adding text. The next thing you may want to do is color code for whatever reason. I often color code my notes by either days of the week or the item it's related to. but let me just show you very simply how to do it and what works best for your system. You click down here in the what looks like a palette for a painter, and then you just pick a color. I'll go ahead and pick pink. Now, the other thing that you can do is you can import a picture to kind of jazz up your note if you would like. One of the ways you can import a picture is just down here in Add Image. Okay, you can click on it and you can then find the image you would like on your computer. I actually was going to look for a Monday picture, and I already searched and came up with something like this. I like this one, so I'm going to copy it. And then I'm going to go back to my Google Keep note, and I'm going to paste it. And there you go. That is now the heading for my note. Happy Monday. The last thing that I want to describe is showing you how you can add checkboxes. So, ideas for this week include go to the grocery store. Take the kids to the movies. Make sure the kids have completed their homework. Okay, so if you want to add a list and you want to be able to check these items off, you can go here, all right, and show check boxes. You just click that and watch what happens. You now have check boxes here. The cool thing about this as well is that when you've finished an item and you click it, it goes to the bottom and shows that it is complete. So, again, these are the basics of what Google Keep can accomplish.
Now that I've showed you how to access Google Keep Notes various ways, I'd like to show you how to add reminders, collaborators, and pin your Google Keep Note. So I'm going to create a new Google Keep Note, and I'm going to name this Test 1. I'm going to add a color, and I'm going to add some checkboxes. Okay, now I'm going to add a reminder. So the first icon, the picture looks like a bell icon and it says remind me. You click on it and then it gives you options whether you want to be reminded later today, tomorrow, next week, or you can customize it by picking a date and time. So I'm going to choose next week and I'm going to choose at 1 p.m. Or you can just type in whatever time you'd like for this Google Keep Note to be fired or remind you. You can also have it remind you daily or weekly, or you can customize it. So I'm going to customize it every 3 days. Okay, and click on done. So I have my time reminder and my date reminder. You can also have an option, you have an option to pick by location. So here, I'm going to type in my school and save it. So whenever I drive or whenever I am at this location, this Google Note will fire. Now adding collaborators, this picture, the second icon, is a picture of a person and a plus sign. If I click on it, I want to share this Google Keep Notes with my colleague. So I would add her email, save, and you'll notice her icon is on this Google Keep Notes. So she can edit this and she can add, or she can delete and work on the Google Keep Notes that I shared with her. Now, this is a very important note. So I would like it to be at the very top of my list. So I'm going to pin it, and it will carry my Google Keep Note to the very top because I consider this to be very important. Notice if I unpin it, it removes it from the very top and it brings it all the way to the bottom. So I'm just going to pin it. Also notice at the left side of your screen, you have a tab that says Reminders. That's going to gather all your Google Keep Notes that has reminders on them. For example, I have the one that I was just working on. So that's just a quick way of adding your reminders, your collaborators, and also pinning your Google Keep Notes. Now I'd like to show you how you can work on your Google Keep Notes while you're on your Google document or your Google Slides, or even accessing your Google Keep Notes with reminders while you are on Google Calendar. So since we are right here on our Google Keep Notes website, I want to carry this Google Keep Notes over to my Google document. How do I do that? I click on the three little dots which say More and scroll down to Copy to Google Docs. What it will do, it will transfer all the information on this Keep Notes onto my Google document. So it will open a new tab of Google document. So it carried over all the information that was on that Google Keep Note. Another way of working on your Google Keep Notes while you're in your Google Documents is hover over the second icon, the yellow square with the white light bulb. If you click on it, it's going to populate all of your saved Google Keep Notes. So you could do it two ways. You can either click on the Google Keep Note and drag it over to your Google Documents, or you can click on the three little dots, they say Doc Menu, and then click on Add to Document. And it will add the information that's on the Google Keep Notes. Now I'd like to show you how to access your Google Keep Notes while you're in your slides. I'll open a new tab, type in slide.new. Notice that I also again have access to my sidebar. There's the icon, the yellow square with the bulb, that's your keep icon. And the same applies. You can drag your notes onto the slide, or you can click on the three little dots and add to slide. So it's the same concept, or it's the same way of accessing your Google Keep Notes or the notes in your Google Keep Notes. Now I'd like to show you how to access your Google Keep Notes while you are in your Google Calendar. Right here, I'll open a new tab and type in calendar.google.com, and that should take you directly to your Google Calendar. I also have access to the same sidebar as I did while I was in Slides and while I was in Documents. Notice also that I have a few quite of reminders here for today's date. So if I click on the reminders that I have at the very top, I have all the list of reminders for that date. Notice also that there are a few icons available per note. The first icon which is a light bulb icon, it'll open this note or this particular note in Keeps. So if I click on it, the particular note is opened now in your Google Keeps. So you can make some additional changes or edit or delete. Going back to my Google Calendar, the second icon is the edit icon. If I click on it, it looks like a pencil. I click on it, I can change the date, I can change the recurrences. The third icon is a delete icon. So if I want to delete this icon, I can just simply click on the trash bin, the icon that looks like the trash bin. And it gives you a reminder, you sure you want to delete this reminder. And then the last icon, you can mark it. It looks like a check mark. So this particular Keep Notes, I can click on it, mark done. Notice that one of my reminders is complete. Look, this is the visual that it gives you. It put a line through it. It lets me know that I've completed this reminder. If I click on it, I can put it back onto Note and mark as not done. If I did a mistake and I clicked on it, I can undo it. So if I click on the arrow, it will put it back into the reminders. Again, there's your Keep icon. You can click on it and have your saved Google Keeps. Only notes that have reminders on them will appear in your Google Calendar. So for this section, we went through how to access your Google Keeps while you are in your Google document, your Google slide, or how you are able to see reminders when you are in your Google Calendar.
So now that you've had a chance to understand some of the basic and other features of Google Keep, let's look at some of the supercharged features that really can help you with managing your Google Keep notes. We'll look at how to archive or delete a note, how to use labels, how to toggle between the list and grid view, and how to use the search function. So I'm back here at Google Keep. I'm going to go to my notes, and you'll notice that I've got some notes up here. Now, when I'm done with a note in Google Keep, I have two choices. First is I can archive it, and of course archive means I'm going to put it in my filing cabinet and be able to come back to it at any time. And that idea of the filing cabinet for the archive works really well when you look at the icon that goes with it. Now, if I'm done with something, I'm not going to use it again, maybe it was a spectacular failure of a note, didn't work out, I can put it in the trash. If I'm putting something in the trash, I don't want to use it again. However, the people at Google are good, kind-hearted people and understand that sometimes we have finger slips. So if you accidentally trash a note, you do have 7 days to go and fish it out of the trash. So for example, I've got this Flipgrid Twitter project that we worked on for the month of February, and it was a great project, and maybe we'll come back and do it next year. So I'm going to go ahead and archive that note. So I'm going to click on my archive button. It leaves the screen and my notes reshuffled a little bit. But if I go to my archive, if next year we decide that we want to do it again, then what I'm going to do is click on Unarchive, go back to my notes, and it brings it back to my screen. It didn't pin it though because it got unpinned. So you can see it right there at the top. Now, one other note about archiving is that it is unique to the user. So if you are sharing notes with other collaborators, whether they're students or adults, if someone else chooses to archive their note, you will still see it on your main board, but it may be on their archive board. Now, like I said, Google also allows us to trash notes. So if we want to trash a note, we can go to our 3 dots and click on Delete Note. Again, remember I told you Google is forgiving because they're good people. So if I click on Trash, right in here I can choose to either delete it forever because I'm done with it for sure, or I can choose right here to click on Restore and it would come back into my notes. If I have a whole mess of things in here, or I'm just super sure and there's a whole bunch in the trash, I can click on Empty Trash and it will delete all of my notes permanently. The next thing I want to talk about are the labels. You'll notice down the side I have some labels here. I have AAC, schedule, and Twitter posts. And what you can use labels for is to help you very quickly see a certain set of notes that you've labeled. So I did a set of Twitter posts about Google Keep and put them on Google Keep notes for my graphics. So if I want to very quickly go back to those, I can click on my label and see them. You'll notice on each note, it says right there, Twitter posts. So it's just a very quick way to get a snapshot of what you have for categories. If I want to add a new category, I can go to my note. I can click on my three dots and I can click on Add Label. If this met any of my categories, I could use the checkbox to add it or delete it. But since word wall doesn't really make sense for those three categories, I'm going to give it its own category of word wall, and I'll hit Create. And then if I'm making a lot of these to share with my students, I'll be able to very quickly see them. You'll notice I now have a fourth category, on the left menu. And when I want to edit labels, get rid of labels, I can click on Edit and either add new ones, or if I decide I don't need this one anymore about schedules because I don't have any notes there, I can hit Delete, and it will only delete my label, but my notes will stay. So it's just a really powerful feature and to see what you need to see and clear the clutter. Now, labels are unique to each user, so just because I label the note doesn't mean that the collaborators that I'm sharing it with will see the label. Now, let's talk about how we view Google Keep. You'll notice right now, my Google Keep, some notes are longer than others. They don't all line up. I've got a whole mess of them, so you can see that there's just a lot of them, and they don't stay the same. And if I move and delete, they're all going to move places. If that's not good for you or your student, you have the option of switching your view. You can switch to list view, which simply takes your Google Keep notes and puts them in a list so you can see them straight up and down. It's really your preference or your student's preference. It may depend on the day, it may depend on the hour, but you are certainly welcome to toggle between the two views and find the one that fits for you. The last feature I want to show you is the search feature. The super cool thing about Google Keep is that searching is easy because that's what Google's good at, right? So when I want to search a note, right up here at the top, I click on Search. I can search by the type of note. So if I want to find all my notes that have just reminders on them, I can do that. If I want to search just my list notes, I can click there and search just my list notes. Maybe I want to search by labels. Maybe I'm going to ask Google to use some of its artificial intelligence and find me notes about groceries. Apparently I have some of those. So you can also search by the people you've shared it with or the color. You've color coded your notes. So if you know that you've made all of your science notes teal, you can click on teal and get just your teal notes. Now, the last kind of searching that I want to show you is searching for specific words. So if you wrote a note and you can't find it, but you know it has a specific word, like I'm going to look for all the notes that have the word new voice in them, which is a piece of software that we use. I'm going to search it, and Google Keep is going to be looking through all my notes to find the notes that it can find the word new voice in. As you can see, it's highlighted them there. So it's just a really powerful feature to make finding and using these notes so very easy. So now that you've learned some of the basic features of Google Keep, let's learn about some ways to actually use it with your students or children. Google Keep is a really great tool because it's available to all students and adults in Fairfax County Public Schools, and it's available as a part of the free Google features as well. So it's an evergreen resource that you can use as you even leave the school.
An area that's often mentioned when talking about executive function and Google Keep is graphic organizers, whether those graphic organizers be for reading and writing. And I have included a few of those graphic organizers here. And some of these I just pulled off the web. Others were given to me by teachers. So let me have you take a brief look at some of them. This is a rubric that a teacher had provided. She uses this with her students to let them know what it is that she is grading on. Then, of course, you have your 5-finger story sequencing to help students kind of summarize what happens in a story. Another editing checklist that's provided to students as they're editing their work. Your typical Venn diagram, your hamburger writing, and then just your simple graphic organizer that makes sure students understand that they need the main idea, supporting statements, and a closing sentence for every paragraph. These notes can be very easily added to a Google Doc by just hitting your 3 dots at the bottom of any Google Note and hitting copy to Google Docs. Then you open the document, and there you have it.
So over the years, many teachers have asked their assistive technology resource teacher to help support a student with executive functioning needs. And in the past, many things have been tried, including Excel spreadsheets, Microsoft Word tables and documents, perhaps reminders on the phone or reminders in Google, using a calendar, checklists on a desk, and so on. For this particular set of Google Keep notes, I worked with a school team in determining what might work best for a particular student. And in this case, in coordinating with the school team, with the student, with the parent, we determined that we wanted to come up with 5 daily notes. And as you can see, those notes are color coordinated. Okay, we have Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, and lastly, Friday. And these notes allow for each item to be added and then to be checked off when it is completed. The student and the teacher in coordination will add the next assignment that's due on a Monday to this note. And then in reviewing their Google Keep, the student can look for what's due on Monday and then what's due on Tuesday. For particularly large assignments that take a considerable amount of time, the student and the teacher can work together to chunk that assignment and assign it days. It's important to also note that, as demonstrated here, each of these circles represents a different person from the school team. And they all have access as collaborators to each daily note. That way they can see what is going on with each particular note, as can the student. And then they can work in coordination. So, although not necessarily perfect, this is certainly one option to support students.
So you can use Google Keep Notes for a variety of reasons. Teachers and parents and students can access Google Keeps to create checklists and reminders and schedules, as well as rubrics. Students can use Google Keeps for their group projects, as well as reading logs and vocabulary and spelling lists, as well as journaling and daily habits and tasks. For instance, teachers can use Google Keep for a rubric. So this is a nice visual representation to help our student keeping tasks in knowing what is expected when working on a writing assignment or working on any assignment. As teachers, you can also use it for a visual reminder, helping students know what are the expectations for behavior in the classroom. Here, I've also created another schedule where you can add emojis and give it a nice, fun appeal. You can also, as teachers, collaborate with your students, and this gives them some sense of ownership. As parents, you can use Google Keeps for, again, giving you visual reminders of what your child's school day looks like. I have a 10th grader and he is virtual, attending high school, and he has A days and B days. And this just gives me a nice visual reminder of what he is expected to do during the day. Also, I've used Google Keep for grocery lists. I've added the location to where I'm going to buy these items, and once I'm there, it will remind me, or it will fire, the note will fire and just give me a reminder that these are the items that you need to get when you are at this location. So these are just some great examples of what Google Keep can be used for, whether you're a teacher or a student or a parent.
So one really cool thing that you can do with Google Keep is use it to grab text from images. Occasionally you're going to come up against text in pictures that is what we call inaccessible. So here is just an example that I've found. If the text were accessible, I would be able to highlight it, and then I would be able to use some sort of screen reader to have it read back to me. Now, unfortunately, not everyone makes their text accessible these days. So what you can do is take a screenshot of the text, and I'm going to use a program called Snagit. There are other programs that you can use that are also available, and built into your Windows 10 computer, you can hit Windows Shift S and also take a screenshot. So I'm going to use Snagit though. This is one that we have. And I'm going to draw a picture around the text that I would like to read or be able to read. So I'm drawing my picture. I'm going to go ahead and hit, and you can see it took that text. I'm going to go ahead and hit Copy All, so it copies it to my clipboard. I'm going to go to Google Keep. I'm going to start a new note, and I'm going to hit Control V or paste on my keyboard. So let me find that note. There it is. You can see my note popped up here, and the picture came up. And then what I'm going to do is go ahead and click on my three dots for more, click Grab Image Text, Google gives me a little notification that the image text was grabbed, and I'm going to pop it away. And you can see below, so this starts for those with visual impairments, the use, and we've got the text down below here. Now it is formatted in the same way as the article formatted it, but now it is selectable and accessible, so I could employ a screen reader to have it read to me. Now, this is a free service, and of course you always get what you pay for, but in a pinch, if you need to get some text selectable, you can use this. You're always going to get better results when your text is clear and easy to see, when the original copy is clean and there aren't different shades or marks on the background page. So for this one, you'll notice I increased my zoom to 125. So you may find like just getting it a little bit bigger can help the recognition. But it's just a very cool feature inside of Google Keep that is really helpful for a lot of users. So I hope you like it. We're going to look at how to add drawings to your Google Note. Now, some of you may be familiar with the drawings that you can add in Google Docs. This is not the exact same set of tools. It's kind of a stripped down version, but it's still pretty neat. So there's two ways to get into drawings. The first is by clicking this paintbrush. You can say new note with drawing, or the other way, because Google always gives you more than one way to do something, is to click on your more and click on add drawing. In here, I have some options. The first we'll look at is our background. We can have squares like graph paper. We can have dots. We can have notebook paper, or we can just be plain with none. I'm going to leave it with ruled paper. I have three choices of pen, or writing utensil, I guess, to use. First is the pen. I have several colors to choose from, as well as thickness of line. You can tell that blue is chosen because I have a blue cap on my pen, so I can use that to write on here. And please note, right now I'm just using the touchpad on my computer, but if you had a touchscreen device like a touchscreen computer or a mobile device, you could use your actual finger or a stylus. I also have a marker. You can see it set to blue. I'll change it to purple and change its thickness. And I'll write a little bit with it just so you can see what it looks like. And then finally, there's a highlighter. Again, you can change the colors, you can change the thickness. The one thing to know about the highlighter is you will be able to see what's behind it. So that's nice. It functions like a normal highlighter. Now, let's say you don't like the way you highlighted that, or you want to, undo your very last action. You can hit our undo button here. Oops, didn't mean to do that. You can always redo. Another option is to go to the eraser, and we can erase areas. And if you say, oh my gosh, this is a huge mess, we can clear the whole page and start over. When you're done with your note, let me just give myself a little something. There's my smiley face. I can click on when I'm done with my drawing, I can click on my back arrow and it is added to my note. Now, you notice that we used a lined background, and on this note, it's white. Not really sure why it's doing it, but when I click on that drawing again, I do get my lines back. So I will go back, and then I can hit close, and my note is added. So another really cool feature of Google Keep is that you can use it to transfer images rather than emailing them to yourself, or if you're not at a school where you have a copy machine that you can get them directly, you can use Google Keep. So that image might be a piece of artwork that you want to share with somebody, or a worksheet, or whatever you find useful. So I have this really cool drawing that my daughter did. What I'm going to do is I'm going to use my mobile device, which today is my phone. So I'm going to go to my Google Keep app right here, And I'm going to use the photo button, which is right there at the bottom. And it's going to say, do you want to take a photo or choose an image? And I'm going to go ahead and take a photo. So my camera comes up on my phone, and I'm going to go ahead and take a photo of my image. So give me just a second. Picture looking good. I'm happy with it. It's going to say, are you happy with it? And I can hit the check or the undo button, and I'm going to say I'm happy with it, so I'll hit that blue check. And now I have a note right here on my phone that has that picture on it. And then when I switch to my computer, I should be able to also find this note. Please note that I am using an Android phone, so it might look slightly different on an iOS device, but let me put myself here in the corner. I'm going to scroll down. There's my note. It's right here. And then you're saying, well, Diana, that's great. What am I going to do with this? Well, if I click on my image again, I have options when I right click on it. I can save my image and put it anywhere in any of the files on my computer. So I can also right click, copy image, go to my Google Doc, and then paste it. So I'm going to hit Control V. And there's my image, and it's right there on my Google Doc. So it's just another way to transfer images and keep things going without having to use your email.
My colleagues and I would like to take this opportunity to thank you for attending the virtual session and Google Keep Notes. Please check out one of our websites, Technology Tools to Support All Learners, found on the FCPS ATS webpage. Make sure you scroll all the way down to the Organization Resource folder. There you'll find other resources and video links to Google Keep Notes. Also, please don't forget to check us out or follow us on Twitter at ATS_FCPS. Thank you for attending, and please enjoy the rest of the Special Education Conference.